Do you know what the worst thing you can possibly be in this life? I'm talking about the worst thing. Like, just picture that for a moment. Okay, moment is done. The worst thing you can be in this life is average.
Oh my God!
Because what do you mean a 12-year-old just graduated with their PhD and you at your big age of 20 can't even book your own doctor's appointment?
Hi,
I was just calling to see if I could make a doctor's appointment for me.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm nervous.
how old are you?
I'm 22.
It feels like the biggest crime in humanity is being average. Being average looking, having an average career, having an average lifestyle, having an average education, like just being an average person. That feels like it is one of the biggest crimes in humanity. And if you are average, you are failing society and you're failing yourself. This is definitely more of a crime if you're African or Asian, because our parents don't play around. They want you to be the top of the class. You gotta get the A++++. You gotta be the valedictorian, the president. You gotta be at the top of your class, like the very top. Not the middle, not the bottom, the top. You know what I mean? And this somewhat explains the way I am, because I am African if you did not know that, but I will talk about that later in today's video. Imagine living a life where you're neither celebrated nor pitied. You live in a constant state of mediocrity, never bad enough to warrant concern, but never good enough to receive any sort of recognition. Simply put, you're just average, and that's a bad thing. Or is it? We live in a society that idolizes the extraordinary. From social media to television, we're bombarded with images of success stories, extraordinary talents, and people who seem to defy the ordinary and not be human at all. I mean, we have 12-year-olds becoming crypto millionaires overnight, and we have the most beautiful girls on TikTok literally blowing up and starting off her whole career by being beautiful. It feels like everyone around us is achieving all these incredible feats. So it just feels like everyone is successful at this point. The constant celebration of exceptionalism creates a pressure to stand out and become more than average. Because if you are average, it feels like a curse. But why do we feel that way? Why is it an insult to be called average? Because I tend to see a lot of guys on Instagram, if they see a really beautiful girl, their first thing to say is, oh, she's mid, she's average. First of all, they're not average. The girls are not average at all. But why is it an insult? Why do we feel like it's a curse to be average? So in today's video, we're gonna talk about what it actually means to be average and the curse of being average, and also if it's really the biggest crime in humanity. But you know what shouldn't be average? Your sleep. Like, why settle for a below average mattress when you can get an above average mattress with Helix? No, seriously, why sleep on something that feels like a lumpy couch cushion when you can be sleeping on something that feels like it was hand delivered on a fluffy cloud by angels? Helix makes premium mattresses and beddings customized just for you. It's like having a personal mattress tailor who knows exactly what you need. Plus, they ship straight to your door with free shipping in the US, so you don't have to worry about awkwardly strapping your mattress to your car to take it home. You can take their online quiz to determine which of their 20 unique mattresses is the perfect fit for you. It's like a personality quiz, but for your sleep style. You can choose from their award-winning Luxe and ultra premium elite collections, the Helix Plus designed for big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kids mattress made for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep and medical experts. Before getting my mattress, I took their quiz online and I was matched with the Helix Midnight. And when I tell you this mattress was giving what it was supposed to give, it was giving what I was supposed to give. My dad got a little too excited and started opening the box, but as you can see, they really know how to package their mattress, because I was surprised that such a big mattress could fit into that tiny little box. The mattress was quite heavy, or maybe I'm just weak, but I did manage to get it on my bed and my dad helped me set it up. I move around a lot when I sleep, so this mattress is perfect because no matter what position I move to, it just adjusts to my body and makes the sleep 10 times more comfortable. And now my sister pretends that she wants to hang out with me when all she really wants to do is lie on my mattress. So that's really the only con to having this mattress for me. And if it makes you nervous to try something new, Helix offers a 100-night sleep trial, which gives you more than 3 months to determine if their mattresses is a right fit for you. Plus, Helix mattresses come with a 10-year warranty, so you can sleep soundly knowing that they've got your back. Literally. And they offer financing options and flexible payment plans, making it super easy and attainable to get a good night's sleep without breaking the bank account. Helix is the gift that keeps on giving because they are currently running their 4th of July sale, so you can get 30% off their Luxe and Elite mattresses and 2 free pillows, or you can get 25% off the entire site. You can click the link down below or scan the QR code to find out more about this limited time offer. But if you missed this offer, no worries, you can still get 20% off using my link. I highly recommend trying out their mattresses because it actually really is that good and you've got nothing to lose. And your back will thank you later, so go do it. Speaking of thanks, thank you so much to Helix for sponsoring this portion of today's video. And now let's get back into the world of averageness. Yeah. Part 1. Okay, so what do we consider an average person? In this section, we are going to define average so we can make sure we are all on the same page throughout the duration of today's video. And I want to stress that looking or being average is completely subjective. Some things may be seen as average to me, but not to you. So if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments down below and we can kiki it up. For this section, I am going to define what the majority of people deem average because I think that would make the most sense. So let's get into it. Yeah. An average person typically refers to someone who fits into the middle range of societal norms and standards in various aspects of life, such as how they look, how fat their bank account is, and just their overall lifestyle. An average person is not considered exceptional. They don't stand out for being good or bad. They just kind of simply exist. And not to sound rude, but this is the, I guess, consensus of what it means to be average. And the average person is way more common than we think too. But because their life is average or they're considered average, we don't see them plastered on our screens 24/7 simply because it's not interesting enough to warrant attention from the masses, if that makes any sense. Like, there's a reason why celebrity house tours are so popular. It's because their homes are not average. Like, have you seen these people's mansions? Like, sheesh. I was looking at Kim Kardashian's 73 questions from a while ago, and I still can't believe that her hallway looks like a museum. Like, it's giving creepy haunted house vibe. Like, at nighttime, I don't know how they sleep in that big ass house, but I guess they got security, so they're good. But we are so used to seeing extravagant parties, mansions, and lifestyles on social media and the television, so that's why we think being average is not common. However, being average is literally the norm in society. That is the standard. That's normal. I personally don't believe that there's anything wrong with being average. However, I will admit that I don't want to be average, like not in the slightest. It's a problem, and I'm gonna elaborate on that later in today's video. I mean, I just thought I'd be honest. Like, even though I believe that there's nothing wrong with it, it's not something that I want to be, but just wait, I'ma explain. Don't try to kill me. Because first, I want to dive into some key characteristics that define an average person so you can see if you relate or not relate, and we can just all be on the same page on what we consider an average person. If you want to add anything to this list down below, do it, because who gonna stop you? So yeah, let's get into it. Have you ever heard of the saying that goes like this? Education is power. I feel like you have probably heard that a couple times in your life, or at least one time. Myself, I have heard that many times. That's why I had no choice but to go to university. It was not my decision. I'm happy I went, got my degree, period, but that's a popular phrase because education is so valued in society and valued in a lot of cultures. So having a high level of education already makes you stand out to a lot of people, because I guess it makes you stand out to jobs because they're like, oh, this girl went to Harvard? Oh my God, like, she the shit. Or if you tell people that you went to like prestigious universities, their eyes light up. They're like, oh wow. Or if you're studying something that is considered prestigious, like law, becoming a doctor, like medicine or engineering, people are like, oh, like, wow, oh my God, like, you're so da-da-da. I can even relate to this because I went to school for law actually, and whenever I would tell people, oh yeah, I'm studying law, like their eyes would light up. They're like, oh, like, wow, Miss Lawyer, future lawyer here. Like, they start cracking jokes with me, they try to be my friend. I'm just like, damn, just because of law. But because those are considered above average education and like not everyone can go to school for it, people's eyes light up and they treat you differently because they're like, wow, she's like doing something that's above average. That's just like a little example, you know what I mean? And remember those college reaction videos that went viral a while ago? I don't know if they're still popping today because I don't really pay attention to them. When I was applying to school, I loved watching them because I'm like, oh wow, I just want to see like the reactions and stuff. And they went super viral because the schools that these kids were applying to were Ivy League schools like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, like the big dogs. And those schools are seen as above average. They're seen as prestigious. So people wanted to see which schools these kids got accepted to because the schools are such a big deal. If it was community college, I don't think those videos would go viral. Even though there's nothing wrong with community colleges, they're just seen as the standard. But if you're getting a high level of education at a high institution, it warrants recognition and respect from a lot of people, making it an above average education. So do you get what I'm trying to say? But let me just say it again, community college is not a bad thing at all. I didn't attend a prestigious school, girl. I just wanted my degree and I got my degree and I'm done. So don't even feel bad if your education is not prestigious or above average, but this is just an example of what we consider average in terms of education. So the next characteristic I want to talk about is your career choice. Your career is very important. We gotta work to pay bills and live life, unfortunately, which is a scam, by the way, because why was I born just to work? Anyways, so holding a steady and secure job that pays enough to cover your living expenses is seen as a standard. Well, like low-key, I feel like that was a standard back in the day when things were a bit more affordable, because now everything is so expensive. Low-key jobs don't even be paying enough to be covering your living expenses. So that's tea. So let's just say that your job covers most of your living expenses. That's like the standard. So let's just rephrase that a little bit. An average job is not considered a high-profile job at all. It's not like an engineer, lawyer, doctor, police officer. It's not considered one of those, but it pays your bills and it makes you a contributing member to society. You pay your taxes, you do all that. But apparently that's not enough, especially not to African parents.
I'm disappointed in you. What rubbish? How dare you? How dare you to do that?
I keep having to explain to my parents that being an engineer, doctor, or lawyer is not the only job out there, but you know, they're having a hard time seeing that. But you know what? It's a work in progress. They're gonna get there one day eventually. Typically, if your career requires a lot of schooling, pays well, and has prestige and exclusivity attached to it, then it's considered above average. But if your career is the opposite, then it's considered average. However, I will say that being famous, whether it's through acting, singing, or even influencing, doesn't require a lot of schooling, but since it's not a traditional job, I would still say it's considered above average, especially depending on how successful you are. An average person's job likely offers a reasonable work-life balance. They may work like a simple 9 to 5 or similar hours, like 8 hours a day, but this doesn't apply to all jobs because, you know, a lot of jobs are very ghetto. So one of my friend's job was actually terrible too because they gave her the worst type of hours you can imagine. They wanted her to be there at 6 a.m. and she'd be there from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. she would have like a 2-hour break, but she said it was annoying because she lived like kind of far away. So during her 2-hour break to drive back home and then to drive back to work would be a waste of time, a waste of gas. So she didn't want to do that, but like it was just trash because like if I'm gonna work 6 a.m. I better be done like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 1 p.m., or even 12 p.m., you know what I mean? Sometimes these job hours do not be making sense. So if you have a similar hours to your job, I am praying for you. But the responsibilities of an average job are typically straightforward, and they involve routine tasks that require a moderate level of skill and training. Some examples could include roles like office assistants, sales associates, maintenance workers, or mid-level technicians. And once again, I am not shitting on any of these jobs. These jobs are normal, they're fine, they're great. Not everyone has to be a CEO, or not everyone wants to be a CEO because that stress is too much. Like ain't nobody trying to do all that. But I just thought that I would share some examples of what I consider these average jobs to be. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say, period. I know you get it. You and me, we think alike. Okay, so the next area of life I want to talk about is income, because every time I go on Instagram, I am bombarded with a bunch of people trying to sell me Airbnb courses, telling me that I'm gonna become a millionaire overnight, or I have a sugar daddy telling me that, oh, he can give me a lot of money every single day or every single week. So yeah, income is a big thing in this little society that we live in. I be thinking that I'm doing well in life, I'm accomplishing shit, and then I go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and I see someone my age who has like 6 Lamborghinis, 2 businesses, a Rolex. Social media is not the best all the time, especially when it comes to income, because if you earn a decent income, it's like not considered enough. If you're earning like less than 6 figures, it's like, yeah, you suck. Let's talk about an average person's income first before we start talking about the extraness of all that. An average person typically earns a median salary, which means that their earnings fall around the midpoint of the income distribution for their region or country. So they're not among the lowest earners, but also not among the highest. This income level is sufficient enough to cover most of their essential needs and some discretionary spending as well. The average annual salary in Canada back in 2021 was $59,300, and the average salary in America in 2022 was $37,585. So it's safe to say if you fall between this range, then you are making an average salary. And with an average salary, there's a lot of financial constraints you experience because your income level is just not really enough to travel more, to buy luxury items, to start a business, because you know the money's tight because you don't have extra money just flying into your pockets. So that's also another aspect of having an average income. And I feel like the two biggest areas in life that if you're average in, people won't shut up about it, is being average looking or having an average income, because money is so important in society. People want money. Actually, I would say that income levels for men is super important, and then how women look is more important for them. But I will elaborate on that in the next section of today's video, because first I want to define what average looking means to us, because I feel like this one is the most talked about and also complained about. So let's just talk about physical appearance real quick. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok and just social media in general complain that they are average looking, or they're asking people if they're average looking or ugly or pretty, or that they believe that they're pretty but not TikTok pretty. And to me, TikTok pretty is basically being above average. It's just about looking exceptionally stunning to the point where you get a bunch of followers for doing nothing and just blinking at the camera. Can you tell I'm jealous? I don't want to call anyone average looking because I feel like that is very subjective, first of all. And second of all, it's just rude. Like, girl, if you didn't do anything to me, why would I call you average? You know what I mean? I'm not going to call anyone average, but to me, average looking is not having any standout features about yourself, or I guess not having your features come together in a way that makes you look above average. These standout features could be your eyes, your nose, your lips, maybe how clear your skin is, how smooth it is, your body, your booty, that's a big one, your boobies, or also your hair too. Your hair is really important as well. So like all of those factors can make you stand out and be like, oh, she stands out, she's above average. When I think of hair, I can think of Ice Spice's hair. I feel like that really helped her stand out from all the other rap girls because she looked different, right? Most rap girls we were seeing had long bust downs, so I think that's just one way that Ice Spice was able to stand out. The way all of your features come together to complement your entire appearance can either make you below average, average, or above average. So as I said, looking average is very subjective. I'm just trying to emphasize this because I don't want anyone to say that I'm being rude or anything like that. It's very, very subjective. The physical appearance of an average looking person influences how they are treated in social settings and how they are perceived by other people. So let's talk about that a little bit. And if you can relate or have anything to add, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm actually very interested to read your experiences with being average or being above average or being below average, whatever you think you classify as. So an average person tends to blend into crowds rather than standing out. In social gatherings, parties, or at the club, they are not the center of attention based on looks alone, or they may not be getting approached by a lot of people based on their looks alone. Not saying that this is right, but this is something that a lot of us can agree on and that I can certainly tell you is true. I have talked about this a couple times, but I know that I have a lot of new people watching my videos every time I post, so you may not know this, or this may be your first video watching of me. Is that English? I don't know, but it's English today. I was not cute back in the day. I can admit that I wasn't cute. I wasn't getting approached by people. Honestly, I didn't even think I was average. I thought I was actually below average, but anyways, I was not getting approached or nothing like that. No one was trying to talk to me. But then, you know, I had my little glow up phase and I noticed a difference. So it's true. However, even though I'm saying that looking above average can get you approached more, I think it depends on the setting, the social setting. If it's like a job or a club, it depends on that. I do feel like looking average can get you approached more, but maybe when you're getting approached, it's not to give you an opportunity or to help you. It's maybe them asking for help. Let's say you're at the grocery store and you look average, you look friendly. An old lady might be more willing to be like, hey, can you help me get that milk off the top shelf? You know what I mean? So there's definitely two sides to it when you think about it. They might see you as a peer or as someone who understands their experiences, hence why they approach you. And this can possibly get you hired because looking friendly and approachable is super important, especially if you're in a job interview. Just being friendly, being nice and all that, that's gonna help you go a long way. Looking average is not a bad thing and it's not the end of the world. Also, I feel like when we don't find someone attractive, we don't find them intimidating at all. But if we do find someone attractive, then we do find them intimidating. Or maybe it's just me, I don't know. If a guy who I don't necessarily think is cute or is not really my type approaches me, I'm like super chill with them, I'm super friendly. I talk to them like I've known them for years. I'm just like, yeah, what's up? I'm super chill. But the moment someone who is my type approaches me or is like cute or whatever, I'm just like, oh, English becomes a distant memory and I embarrass myself. It's bad. I can't tell you how many times I've been so awkward around guys that I found attractive. Oh, I'm just remembering some stuff right now that I do not want to remember. You know when your brain tries to make you remember something embarrassing and you have to like scream to get it out? I need to do that right now, so give me 1 second. Thanks for your patience, but before we end this section, I want to show you a video that I saw. It mostly applies to guys though, but it's basically talking about how to know if you're an average looking person. If you're a girl or whatever, you can rearrange it to make it match yourself. But anyways, let's play the video. Roll the clip.
There are 3 signs that you are average looking, right? Number 1, nobody calls you ugly, but also they don't call you handsome, right? Number 2, when there is someone who calls you handsome, there's another person in the comment section saying, no, that's not it. Number three, they are only attracted to you because of your talent. There's no other reason. There's no other reason they're attracted to you besides your talent.
In essence, an average person is someone who lives a typical, unremarkable life by societal standards. Neither achieving extreme success or extreme failure, they're just kind of in a state of mediocrity. So it doesn't seem that bad. Or does it? Now that we have a straightforward definition of what it means to be an average person, let's talk about the curse of being average. Part 2, the curse of being average. So we have defined what it means to be an average person in terms of look, education, income level, and your career choices. But let's talk about why it actually sucks. While being average can provide a sense of stability and security, it also comes with its own set of challenges and frustrations that I have seen a lot of people express online and also in person as well. In this section, let's talk about the downsides of being considered an average person. I ended the last section by talking about looks, so let's start this section by talking about looks. As I said before, being an average looking person means you're basically invisible in a crowd unless you have a vibrant personality to make yourself pop in and out there. Based on looks alone, you're gonna blend into the crowd. Blending into the crowd has its pros and cons. The pro is that you're not attracting any negative attention. No one's being like, oh, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. So you're not getting like negative attention. However, you're also missing out on positive interactions that could actually land you opportunities and change your life because the person finds you attractive or above average. How many times have we seen, people go viral for being beautiful? Like, remember about that guy's mugshot? I think he had blue eyes. His mugshot went viral and now he's a model. I don't know if he's still a model now, but looking above average literally changed his life. I'm sure he has way more money now, way more opportunities, is living a way better lifestyle than he was when he got arrested. So yeah, definitely it has its cons, but like there's a lot of pros to being above average looking. And I remember this other girl, I forget her name. I think it's Enyoki. But I remember she went viral because I think she was at a Harvard party, or I'm not sure where she was, but someone took a photo of her, the photo went viral, and then she basically became a model after that photo went viral. She went to the recent Met Gala too. I'm gonna try to find her because I forget her name, but these are just a couple examples of how looking above average gets you opportunities that change your life. And maybe if you're not getting life-changing opportunities for being above average looking, you're certainly getting an ego boost by people telling you that you're attractive every 2 steps you take when you go outside. I know we talk about looks all the time on this channel, but they be coming in clutch. As an average looking person, you might find that people are less likely to approach you or offer you unique opportunities or remember you after a brief encounter. When I was 16, I was in my glow up phase. I lost some weight, I started wearing makeup, and I got like more compliments on how I looked. So my ego was like a tad bit boosted, just like a little bit. So anyways, when I was 16, I wanted to start working because I was just tired of staying home all day or asking my parents for money, and I just wanted my own money. I wanted to start saving and just like, prepare for university and all that. And my job search did not take a long time, even though I expected it would, but it actually wasn't. And one of the places that I applied to was actually Tim Hortons. I've talked about this a couple times before, but as I said, some of y'all, it's your first time seeing my face, so maybe you don't know that I used to work at Tim Hortons, the ghetto. When I applied to Tim Hortons, I gave this man my resume. He was in his mid to late 20s. He was giving me the eyes, like those So just thinking about it gives me like stress. He was like, give me those eyes, like the flirty eyes. And I was like, ew. But you know what? I was trying to get a job. I needed some money. I had to be nice. Like, here's my resume. Thanks. Smile back. I had to do what I gotta do. A sister had to do what she had to do. Anyways, maybe 2 days pass after I handed my resume to the guy and I get a call, and it's actually from the manager of Tim Hortons offering me a position at her location. I was like, okay, period. I'll take it. Like, what? It was close to home. It was perfect for me. So I was very happy with that offer, but I didn't even do a job interview to get that job. So I was like, wait a minute. A little bit suspicious, but you know what? I'm not gonna question it. Let me get my money. Let me get those paychecks. That's all I care about. There were a couple of times the job made me want to cry though, but we persevered though. You don't work in a fast food place without wanting to cry at least once. You know what I mean? But I had quickly learned that the man that I gave my resume to, he was the nephew of the manager. So I was like, oh, so he was very close with her. He got away with doing nothing. I have a video about nepotism too, so watch that video. Turns out he had something to do with me getting hired at Tim Hortons. And the only reason why he helped me get hired is because he thought I was attractive. And listen, like obviously it was a good thing because I really wanted a job, so I was happy to get hired. But it wasn't all cute and everything because he was annoying. He was flirty the whole time. The whole time I worked there, flirty. And I'm like, bro, you are older than me. I'm a minor. Girl, I was a teenager, so it was really irritating. Ended up quitting, and he was one of the reasons why I quit. But my point is that looking above average has its perks, and looking average can literally affect your job opportunities because let's say he didn't find me attractive. Let's say I was average to him, then he probably would not have helped me get the job in the first place. I know I said that looking average can help you get jobs because you are seen as approachable and friendly. However, I believe that looking above average helps you get jobs and opportunities easier. Does that make sense? To get the job at Tim Hortons, I did not have to work as hard. I didn't even have an interview, man, because the man thought I was cute. Like, this can make looking average feel like a curse because you know you have to work 10 times harder than prettier people. But then also people are like, oh, you can't be sad because at least you don't have it as bad as that person. Let's say that person is below average. So you're like stuck in the middle. You can't be getting all those opportunities, but you can't complain because your life could be worse. And before y'all try to start calling me mid, average, conceited, or this, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Stop, won't you just stop looking at me right now? But I was just sharing this story to illustrate my point and to give you a real life example of how being average or looking above average plays out on a day-to-day basis. Plus, I've had a lot of conversations with you guys and you have said that you like when I tell stories, so that's why I'm doing that. So let's talk about romantic relationships because initial attraction and that plays a huge part in dating and romance in general. So let's talk about it. While personality and compatibility are crucial, initial attraction often plays a significant role in romantic pursuits. If you find someone attractive, it's normal to want to approach them. But not me though, because I'm scared. And typically it's men who approach women, but sometimes the roles are reversed. So to all my girlies out there who can approach men or approach whoever they find attractive, y'all need to teach me because I'm scared. But let's just talk about men for a second. We know men are very appearance focused, appearance based. Not all of y'all before you try to attack me, but a lot of men, they like looking at a pretty lady. If they see a pretty lady, they want to approach her, they want to talk to her, they want to just rizz her up basically. And if they don't find someone attractive, they're probably not really gonna pay any attention to them, and I've seen it multiple times. So an average person, we can say an average woman, but this applies to everyone though, an average person has to work harder than someone who's already above average because they have to work harder to make a good first impression. Even though looks shouldn't be everything, unfortunately they are. So being average is like, okay, I have to work a little bit harder to show my personality because I guess the face card is not attracting them. And this is especially true on dating apps where first impressions are so important because the first thing we see is a picture of them. If you don't find someone attractive, you can swipe left so fast. And I'll be honest, when I used to use those apps, I would look at the face first, and then if I find them attractive, then I would actually look at their bio. But if I didn't find the face attractive, I didn't bother to look at the bio. But I don't use those apps anymore because it's just too much work. I don't have time for that. But the thing is that dating apps are so popular nowadays because it's kind of hard to go out and meet someone and talk to someone. So dating apps are like one of the main ways people are finding relationships. And if you feel like an average looking person, it's probably making you insecure to go on dating apps because your face card or just your body is the first thing that these people see and can analyze. So it be out here stressing people out. So to compensate for not having standout looks, average looking people have to go the extra mile to look good or groom themselves, or also put in work to have a good personality, to be funny, charismatic. Let's say you're not cute, but you're funny and charismatic. You're gonna go a long way. People like that. People love to laugh. If you can make people laugh, like you're Gucci. Because I'll be honest, I have had some guys approach me that I did not find attractive. But when they started making me laugh, I was like, oh, maybe he's kind of cute after all. I always give them a chance if they seem nice enough. But when they start to make me laugh and show personality or show that they're charismatic, that's when my attraction starts. But if a guy is already attractive to me, then he has a good personality, it's like, oh, the personality is just a bonus. But I feel like it really should be the other way around. Having a good personality is the main thing, and then the attractiveness should be the bonus. Definitely I'm changing that mindset too, because having that previous mindset has not helped me at all. Yeah, we're changing that for the better. 2024 is a new year. Amen. But it's not only about looks too, it's about your career as well. So let's talk about that. Mediocre careers mean that you don't have access to the exciting or lucrative opportunities available to those in high profile or high paying positions. You don't get to travel the world for your job or meet notable people, and simply a job you do just to work and pay the bills and be a contributing member to society and to be paying taxes. Now, low-key are a scam. These jobs usually limit your opportunities for growth in a company and makes career advancement seem impossible, unremarkable, or just very slow. Average careers often come with a lack of recognition or acknowledgement, either from the public or management. You're just seen as a number, just as another employee.
You are now one of my elite employees.
And that can make you feel unfulfilled with your life and job because you feel like you're not really doing anything that's significant in this world. I have met a lot of people who have talked about not feeling fulfilled within their jobs because just don't feel like their contribution is really doing anything to change the world or change the company for the better. I personally don't find anything wrong with corporate, but I know it's just not something that everyone wants to do, and that's totally fine. But to work corporate, to not make a big impact in their job, just to go there, do the work and get paid, go home and live their lives. And that's totally fine if you fit into that category as well. Not all of us can be these huge people with such huge historic accomplishment. That's impossible. And that's fine despite what social media says. Because whenever I go on social media, I am bombarded with people just telling me I'm not doing enough in my life, you know, the money's not there, or they're calling me broke in different languages.
That's average people talk normal. Average people talk problems. The greats talk solutions.
Like, despite what social media says, average people are still winning, so don't let them fool you. But if you go on social media a lot and you see a bunch of rich people just living very expensive, luxurious lifestyles, it can make you question like, yo, what am I doing in my life? Because I can't tell you how many times I've almost bought a course because I thought it would make me rich. I mean, I actually have bought a course though from like TikTok, like to grow my TikTok, but that was an epic fail. But we've come a long way from that. I am not as gullible as I once used to be. You know, life is about evolvement. Is that a word? I mean, I still like looking at luxury content once in a while because I do find it interesting, and you know, I kind of like judging rich people. But balance is definitely important because it's really easy for you to feel unfulfilled with your life and career, and especially income, if you constantly see people flexing their wealth and expensive lifestyles on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. And speaking of income, an average career is going to give you a what? An average income, which typically means that you most likely will be living paycheck to paycheck, and you will have a lot of financial constraints, as I mentioned earlier. This limits your opportunities to pursue your passions because, you know, time is money. If you're not making money with your passion, then you have to focus on getting that bread first before you can focus on what you really want to do. And also limits your opportunity to invest in future business ideas or just future opportunities. And it limits you from indulging in the finer things in life. For example, I used to be really into singing, and I'm still into singing right now, but I had to stop once I realized that I needed money because singing was not paying them bills. I used to get vocal lessons, and if you have ever gotten vocal lessons, piano lessons, music lessons, you know that it's not cheap at all. So it was a struggle to be affording the vocal lessons, so I did have to stop because, you know, I was working an average job. The money was average. It was not given what's supposed to give. But experiences like this can make it feel like being average is even more of a curse because you're like, damn, you know, my income is so average, I can't even do things that I want to do. I can't take lessons on music. I can't travel the world or travel multiple times in a year. Having an average income limits your experiences and can also like just make it feel like a curse, like you're not doing enough or you're not really living life because you're so constrained because of your financial situation. Average is not bad, but when you can't do what you want to do, it feels like being average is the worst thing in the world. Even though I had to stop taking vocal lessons, I can still low-key sing though. So do you want to hear? It's okay, you don't have to beg. You don't have to beg. Twin, where have you been? Nobody knows me like you. I look at my ass, I got him lying. You can clap now, don't worry. Oh my God, I am so unserious. Since we're on the topic of average careers and average incomes, let's talk about this myth of limitless potential, because it's a lie. It was all a lie, guys. I'm telling you, it was all a lie. I know most motivational speakers mean well when they are yelling at us not to be bums and to do something with our lives, but half the time, what they want us to do is not feasible unless you have significant resources. I feel like we are fed the lie that we can become the top 0.1% earners in whatever country we live in, and especially in America. But there's a reason why the top 0.1% is such a small percentage. It's because it's not normal to become. I hate to break it to y'all, but a lot of us are not gonna become billionaires. We're not gonna even make a fraction of what Jeff Bezos pulls in a year. But just because becoming a billionaire is a very hard thing to do, doesn't mean that you can't still strive for greatness. Good and extraordinary are two different things that should at least be both respected, but we know it's not. A good life and an extraordinary life, they're both still good. Like, it's good, you know what I mean? And this pervasive myth that anyone can achieve anything with enough effort can be demoralizing, especially when reality doesn't align with these expectations. It can make average achievements seem like failures, such as buying a used car, or graduating from a school that is not considered prestigious, or getting a pay raise that's below 6 figures. These are all huge achievements, but when you're seeing bigger achievements being praised around you or on social media, it can make your achievements feel so minute. Western culture in particular promotes the idea that everyone should strive for greatness and also do it solo. Our culture is so work-based, which is another factor as to why having a prestigious job or above average job is important, because having a job period is important. We're so focused on work. Like, that's literally all they want us to do. In addition to that, when you are constantly fed the idea that you have limitless potential, reach for the stars or whatever, past the stars, when you're constantly fed that lie, it can make you lack contentment in your own life and with your own achievements, because you're constantly believing that what you're doing is not enough because you're not up there, you're here. But you gotta get it all the way up here. This prevents you from finding contentment with your current achievements and circumstances. It can lead to a perpetual state of striving without any type of satisfaction from what you're doing. And this lack of contentment doesn't only have to hurt you, it can also hurt the people around you as well. Because I remember I was talking to my friend the other day, he saw this TikTok of this really pretty girl, then he went to the comments. And the first comment was someone who said something along the lines of this: "I just looked at my girlfriend and sighed." Rude. I know it's like a joke on social media right now to be like, oh, I just looked at so-and-so inside. But the context of everything was just so rude. Like, to me, like, that just sounds so rude, and it sounds like there's a lot of truth behind what they were saying. Like, imagine, you're dating someone and you see them comment that on someone's post. Like, how would that make you feel? I know it's a joke, but I don't know, that's just rude. Like, let me know if I'm tripping, but that's rude.
Ladies, see, y'all be surprised at how many guys are actually not really attracted to you, but yet it still won't stop them from acting like it. Because if it's one thing a man is good at, it's actually leading women on while not having any real feelings or actually wanting a long-lasting relationship. Sad reality is, while you're out here trying to give him the world and wanting that appreciation from him and those compliments and all that other stuff, he is up there imagining that he is with another girl. See, y'all don't really see that side of guys because they don't typically say that, because a lot of guys, they will settle for someone because they would rather be with someone than no one. It doesn't matter that he's attracted to you, it's the fact that you're stroking his ego is what's making him stay. And then he will tell you not to worry about this girl whose pictures and posts that he's liking, especially if she's posting explicit pictures, when in actuality, he is just plotting because that's what he is attracted to. A guy's following means a lot. Who he is following will tell you if he's attracted to you or not. Guys don't just follow girls out of the blue because he likes their pictures. He follows them because he is attracted to them. I mean, just think about it. If he was actually attracted to you and he actually appreciated you, then he would not be following or liking these other girls' pictures or anything, because you would be the only person that he sees. If you want to lose interest in a guy, look at who he's following, and that will tell you everything you need to know. But y'all stay safe.
So having this mentality that, oh, everyone around you is not good enough, you need to be friends with people who are above average, or you need to date someone who is above average, you're just gonna be hurting people, destroying people's self-esteem, and just honestly gonna isolate yourself. Like, I do understand the argument where you have to change your environment, because let's say you have really strong aspirations and your friends friends don't. You don't have to ditch them, but you can definitely make friends with people who have similar aspirations to you, so you stay on track while still being friends with your current friend. But at the same time, if you don't think your partner is attractive, just leave them the hell alone. I know people who are literally just with someone to pass time, but when they find someone better, they're leaving them. This dating scene is f***ed up. That's why I'm single. Part 3, to be average or not? In this section, we are going to settle this question. Should you be okay with being average, or are you limiting yourself by accepting mediocrity? I also want to elaborate more on what I said earlier about me not wanting to be average, because I feel like it does sound hypocritical to tell you guys it's okay to be average than to turn around and say that I don't want to be average. So please, let me explain. Don't raise your pitchforks against me just yet. Let's get into it. Yeah. Let's start this section with me, because why not? As I said before many times on this channel, I am Nigerian, but I was born and raised in the West, so I do have both influences on me. One thing you need to know about Nigerians is that they want to be first. They carry first. They don't carry last. They're not the second, the third, the fourth. They want to be the first. It's a highly competitive culture. Like, we promote being the best of the best, being the top of your class, getting the A++++, being that doctor, that lawyer, that engineer, making a lot of money. It's really promoted in the culture. Nigerians, you know, we're very, very boastful. You know, when we achieve something big, we want to show y'all. Like, it's very extra, you know, like extra people. Parents, they want their children to be the top, like top of your class, because they didn't suffer and walk 500,000 kilometers to school for you to be lazy. They didn't do that. You can't not come home with a B. Are you crazy? You need to be coming home with A's, all A's on your report card, and don't even think about getting a C, because yeah, you will not hear the end of that. It's actually funny though, because in uni, I got a C+ in one of my classes. I had to hop on, you know, Photoshop real quick, turn that C into an A real quick, and it worked. You better come home with an A or don't come home at all. So I'm saying all of this to say that I grew up in an environment that was very focused on being the best possible version of yourself that you can be. Become the best. Don't settle for less. Oh, that kind of rhymes. Become the best. Don't settle for less. I swear when I was born, they injected ambition, being above average into my veins, because it is something that is so ingrained into my brain cells that I can't shake. Because I have a fear of not doing enough or wasting my life if I don't keep striving to be the best possible version of myself, just because of the environment that I grew up in. I grew up in a great environment though, so like that's not the issue. But I think this explains, you know, why I act the way I act, because just being a Nigerian, it's just like being the best, striving for the best, like be the top person here. That's what a lot of us are pushed to do. As I said, does has its benefits, because it makes you strive for your goals and have a really good life. But at the same time, it can definitely cause feelings of inadequacy, because let's say you're not doing as well as your cousins, or you're not doing as well as your parents want you to. I know being average is normal and healthy. However, physically in my bones, I can't accept that for myself.
I can't.
When you go from competing with your cousins 24/7, always being in a state of competition, it's kind of hard to like go from that to like being okay with just being average. It's tough. Due to this, I was a nerd from elementary school all the way to high school. I made sure I got A's every single class. Like, I was not playing around. In high school, I actually got all A's. And I was also a nerd in university too, but only like first year, because university is no joke. I got humbled real quick. It was definitely worse before, because I just wanted not to be an average person so badly that I didn't appreciate my wins. I did not appreciate what I was doing. I still had that sense of being above average, but not in educational setting. And talking about this right now is like low-key a therapy session, because it's really making me understand why I act the way I act. Like, why do you act like that?
Why do you act like that?
Like what?
The way that you act.
I've achieved a lot of great in my life, and I'm still young, so there's much more things for me to achieve moving forward. And that's something that I have to keep reminding myself. Like, I swear I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress, you know what I mean? Even the other day too, my sister was cussing me out for not being more celebratory or not celebrating my achievements with the YouTube, because, you know, that 100K is low-key coming up. Like, 100K subscribers, girl. Like, I don't know why, like, it just hit me 2 days ago that like I actually doing YouTube. Like, I know I've always been doing YouTube for like the last couple of months, but the fact that I guess like it's almost at 100K and like people actually be watching me kind of messes up in my brain, because I'm like, is this real life? I don't really talk about it because I don't know what to say, because I just like, I don't know if it's real. Like, I don't know, man. I'm scared. but it's okay. So I'm saying all of this to say that I don't want to be average, but I'm also okay with not being the best of the best like I used to. Like, I've definitely calmed down from that a bit, but I still don't want to be average. And I don't feel like wanting to be above average is a bad thing, but as long as you set feasible goals for yourself and you actually celebrate your wins and balance, you know, just have a good balance. And that is something that I'm actually actively working on, because, you know, I can't be living in a state of constant dissatisfaction. Like, that's not living. If you are in the same position, you know, we're in this together. So do I think I'm average? No matter how I answer this, people are gonna have a problem with my answer, so I'm just gonna answer honestly. I don't think I am, especially for my age, in terms of career-wise, education-wise, looks-wise. I don't think so. And I have to be honest though, ever since my YouTube started doing really, really well, it has ignited that desire in me to achieve greatness. Like, I've always had that because, you know, I'm Nigerian, period, because I've always wanted to do YouTube since 2011. Since my dad bought me my first laptop in 2011, I posted my first video. That's privated right now because it's cringe, but maybe one day I'll post it. So having this platform right now is such a huge blessing to me. So I'm doing all that I can do to produce the best type of quality videos I can ever produce, and just to see how far I can go with this. Like, I just want to reach for the stars. I just want to expand this channel and see how far we can go, see what's in store for NK's world. So that's also another thing that I am working on managing. I feel like, actually, yeah, let me just shut up. Yeah, I need to work on that. But I just wanted to be completely honest and raw right now, because even though being average, as I said, is so normal, it's totally fine, I do struggle with that, and I don't want to be average. Being average is a fate that a lot of us have, and that's okay. Average means predictability, security, and stability. And those are all good things. So don't let social media fool you. Average people are still winning. Social media really will try to trick you into believing that average is not common and that you're not doing enough if you're not trying to become a millionaire or a billionaire by the age of 20. But if you are striving to be basic or average, are you limiting yourself from potential greatness? Are you not unlocking your potential? That's also another question to ask yourself. And that's tricky to answer, because in the end of the day, there's only so much that you can do. You can be dealt with terrible cards, but still manage to have a good life. Life isn't about the hand you were dealt with, but it's how you play your cards. Many people have faced significant hardships, but still manage to have a good life and build a name for themselves. And it may not be like a super high name, like a super, you know, a CEO, So to be average or not is a deeply personal question. The important thing is to define what success and fulfillment means to you. You can lead an extraordinary life even if it's not marked by the traditional metrics of success. Embrace your journey with all of its ups and downs, and remember that life is much more than just achievements. It's about finding contentment, building meaningful relationships, and making the most of what you have with the cards you were dealt with. And also remember that Bill Gates' mother, that billionaire man, his mother was already a respected businesswoman, so she was able to help him get Microsoft to what it is today. So before you try to compare yourself to all these billionaires and millionaires, they already had a lot of resources at their disposal. A lot of us do not have respected business woman mothers, and that's fine. But just remember that before you go and compare yourself to all these rich ass old men. So as we wrap up this discussion, I encourage you to appreciate your average experiences and find pride in your journey. Being average doesn't mean you're failing. It means that you're living a life that is relatable, genuine, and full of potential for personal growth. Embrace your individuality, cherish your progress, and always remember that being average is more than enough. Your life is valuable just as it is, and you have the power to create a meaningful and fulfilling experience. Sending love, NK. Oh. Anyways, thank you for making it to the end of today's video. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share your experiences, because I really do want to read it. I do love reading your experiences, especially if you can relate to the topic or not relate. Let me know, girl. Let me know. I hope this didn't sound too cheesy or whatever. Anyways, I will see you next time in my next video. And yeah, deuces. Bye. So let's talk about why everyone is problematic. Do you know what the worst thing in the world is to be? Like, just think of the worst thing ever. The average salary in Canada was $59,300. Oh, the average salary in Canada. Oh, Canada. This commonality fosters a sense of familiarity. Oh my God.
Familiarity.
This commonality fosters a sense of